Welcome to IPR Radio. I'm Shanjay Mukherjee. With the resurgence of avian influenza cases across several states, the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Government of India, has announced a series of strategic initiatives aimed at containing the outbreak, mitigating its impact on poultry farmers, and reinforcing biosecurity protocols. In this episode, we delve into what these new measures mean for stakeholders across the value chain. The topic for today's podcast is Avian Influenza, What Matters to the Indian Poultry Sector.
In the orchestra of life, each creature plays a part. At Sapience, we see the web of life, where the health of animals reverberates through ecosystems and societies. With innovative technologies, we're redefining the future of agribusiness, sustainably enhancing productivity and profitability. We don't just dream of a better future, we make it. Food safety, quality, and security. These aren't just words, they're our mission. We're Sapience, and we're committed to healthier animals because we believe in healthier living. Be a part of our melody, and together, let's compose a better world. For more information about our products and solutions, log into sapienceagri.com.
I have the privilege of welcoming our moderator of today, Professor P.K. Shukla, Professor and Head of the Department of Poultry Science, College of Veterinary Science and Animal Husbandry, Duvasu, Mathura, and President, Indian Poultry Association. And as always, our speakers, the most important people today, Mr. Ranpal Dhanda, President, Poultry Federation of India, Mr. Madan Mohan Maiti, General Secretary, West Bengal Poultry Federation, Mr. Naveen Pasupathi, President, Karnataka Poultry Farmers and Breeders Association, Dr. Ajay Deshpande, President, Vets and Poultry, Dr. Shirish Nigam, President, INFA. I now hand over the proceedings to Professor Shukla to take the discussions forward. Dr. Shukla.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Indeed, it's a matter of great pleasure that today we are going to have a discussion on a very important aspect which nowadays our country is experiencing. The topic remains the same, the avian influenza, but the insight and probe is different. How and what exactly matters to the Indian poultry sector? We all know that avian influenza, which is commonly known as bird flu, it is a contagious viral disease that primarily affects the birds, especially the domestic poultry like chicken and duck. In a country like India, where the poultry sector supports millions of livelihood and contributes significantly to nutrition and the rural economy, any outbreak of this disease poses a serious threat. We all know that this bird flu or avian influenza is caused by influenza A viruses, particularly the subtype H5N1. The transmission is through direct contact with the infected birds or contaminated feed or contaminated water or the surfaces. And usually what we experience in the poultry farm as symptom is sudden high mortality, lethargy, reduced feed intake, drop in egg production, respiratory distress, etc., etc. But it hugely impacts the India. And the aspects are two. One, which is economic impact, and another, which is social impact. In economic impact, usually there is a sharp decline in poultry product consumption during the outbreaks. At the same time, culling of millions of birds leads to a losses to the farmers. And always, we also experience disruption in domestic and export supply chain. If we see the social impact, it poses a threat to the livelihood of small and marginal farmers, and always there is a panic among consumer and misinformation related boycotts. Yes, I do admit the sector is having a lot more vulnerabilities because of some of the factors which are contributed through unorganized production, because many small scale and backyard farm, they lack in any formal system of production. Also, there is inadequate disease prevention infrastructure on the farms, or in other words, we can say poor biosecurity, and also limited access to timely information and veterinary support also contributes as a lack of awareness to this. But whenever thing comes to the prevention and control, always the biosecurity measures, it plays an important role. And what little we can do to impose the biosecurity measures is we can restrict the farm access, we can ensure the clean water and feed, we can sanitize the equipment and premises, and if surveillance system is there, then definitely it adds to the early disease detection and reporting. And if there is a regular health check of the birds, it also helps in early disease detection. But if at all the infection is there, outbreak is there, then the only option left nowadays is culling and the disinfection. It means removal of infected birds and thorough sanitization of affected areas. Coming to the vaccination, use of vaccine, although controversial, but now India has permitted it and we use it selectively. But a lot more steps have been taken. So far, government policies and interventions are concerned, of which very important is National Action Plan for Avian Influenza, wherein Government of India has given the guidelines for prevention and control of avian influenza. At the same time, the scheme also provides the financial relief to the farmers affected by the culling as compensation schemes. And here, the role of Indian Council of Agricultural Research and Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying is very important. So far, surveillance, the research, and the farmer training is concerned. But yes, I do admit communication and public awareness is an important aspect, wherein consumers education, something like that, properly cooked poultry or poultry products are safe to consume, or the farmer training that encourages best practices in disease prevention constitute an important portion so far public awareness is concerned. Of course, media also plays an important role in preventing the panic and misinformation with their own role. Then coming to the discussions for today, what should be the future strategies and what actually matters to the Indian poultry sector. So in strategies, in today's discussion, we can discuss about the One Health approach that integrates the human, animal, and environmental health responses. We can also discuss the research and development, wherein investment in better vaccines, the diagnostic tool, etc., is very important. Or we can also look for public-private partnership, wherein collaboration for resources and knowledge sharing should be there. So what we can say in nutshell, the avian influenza remains a critical challenge for India's poultry sector. It is not merely a health issue, but an economic and social concern too. So the coordinated action across the government, the industry, and the farmers is essential to build the resilience against future outbreak. And to discuss about the avian influenza, what matters to Indian poultry sector, we have the eminent participants, Mr. Ranpal Dhanda, who is President of Poultry Federation of India, and he is representing the poultry farmers community across country. We do have Mr. Naveen Pachpati, who is President Karnataka Poultry Farmers and Breeders Association. We do have Mr. Madan Mohan Maiti, who is having a vast experience with the poultry farmers, currently General Secretary of West Bengal Poultry Federation. we do have Dr. Ajay Deshpande, who is leading as president of Vets in Poultry, those who are engaged exclusively for vet care in poultry, also in the production system. And we have Dr. Sirish Nigam, who is president of Indian Federation of Animal Health Companies, almost representing and leading 57 animal health companies in our country. So Ranpal Dhanda ji, पहले मैं आपके पास आना चाहूंगा. Recently, Government of India, they have convened a stakeholder consultation, जिसमें बहुत सारी चीजें निकल करके आई थी. और खासकर मैं आपसे जानना चाहूंगा, बिकॉज आप पोल्ट्री फार्मर्स का प्रतिनिधित्व करते हैं, खासकर स्मॉल और मीडियम स्केल पोल्ट्री फार्मर्स का, कि अगर नया रजिस्ट्रेशन सिस्टम हमारा अपनी जगह पे आता है तो उससे क्या हमारे कुक्कुट पालक भाइयों को, हमारे फार्मर्स को कोई परेशानी होगी, या हम उसको कैसे एड्रेस कर सकते हैं जिससे से ज्यादा जो हमारे पोल्ट्री फार्मर्स हैं इस रजिस्ट्रेशन को अपनाएं और आने वाले समय में खासकर एवियन इन्फ्लुएंजा से लड़ने के लिए अपने आप को ज्यादा अच्छे तरीके से तैयार कर सकें. रनपाल ढांडा जी.
जी, सबको नमस्कार. तो डॉक्टर साहब, जैसे आपने बोला है कि इसके रजिस्ट्रेशन का क्या बेनिफिट है या होगा या फार्मर कैसे करे, तो मैं एक बात इसमें कहना चाहूंगा कि रजिस्ट्रेशन का फायदा तो बहुत ज्यादा होगा. अगर हमारे पास डाटा होगा, हर फार्मर की लोकेशन होगी, तो उसका आने वाले टाइम में मतलब चाहे अपा पोल्ट्री इंडस्ट्री के लेवल पे कह लें, चाहे गवर्नमेंट लेवल पे कह लें, तो जो भी डिजीज आती है या कोई और प्रॉब्लम आती है तो उसको हल करने में एक सहूलियत रहेगी. लेकिन सबसे बड़ी बात क्या है कि रजिस्ट्रेशन के मामले में फार्मर को एक मतलब डर लगता है. पहली तो बात, इसकी जो रजिस्ट्रेशन की प्रक्रिया हो बहुत सरल होनी चाहिए, जिससे कि हर फार्मर उसको कर सके. और उसमें फार्मर में एक, आज मैं कहूंगा, मैं फार्मर के उसमें रहता हूं, तो फार्मर को एक डर लगता है कि मैं रजिस्ट्रेशन करवाऊंगा, मेरे पे टैक्स बढ़ जाएगा, मेरे पे ऐसी वैसी कोई लायबिलिटी या कोई निरीक्षण मेरा बेकार में ना होने लग जाए. तो ये कुछ मतलब फार्मर के मन में भय है. तो इन चीजों को फार्मर के अंदर से निकालना होगा. उसके लिए थोड़ा जागरूकता अभियान से हम पोल्ट्री लेवल पे भी, हम जैसे एसोसिएशन लेवल पे भी चलाएं, गवर्नमेंट भी कोई रेडियो के माध्यम से या सोशल मीडिया के माध्यम से फार्मरों के अंदर से एक तो ये है निकालना पड़ेगा भाई, ये अगर रजिस्ट्रेशन आप करवाते हो तो ये आने वाले टाइम में आपको इसका कोई इस प्रकार का दिक्कत नहीं होगा. क्योंकि 2-4 केस हमारे हरियाणा में हुए हैं कि जिसने रजिस्ट्रेशन करवाया है उसके पास ही कुछ दिन पहले ही पोल्यूशन विभाग वाले पहुंच गए कि पानी कितना बढ़ फिर आपका मीटर लगाओ, ये करो वो करो. तो वो एक मतलब रजिस्ट्रेशन होने से पहले ही एक इस प्रकार की फार्मर के अंदर भावना चलेगी, अगर रजिस्ट्रेशन करवाओगे तुम्हारे पे एक शिकंजा कसा जाएगा. तो सबसे पहली बात है, फार्मर को जागरूक करना पड़ेगा और इस चीज को करना पड़ेगा भाई, इस चीज का आपसे इससे कोई इफेक्ट नहीं पड़ना, ये आप लोगों के फायदे के लिए ही है. इससे चाहे आने वाले टाइम में डिजीज है या हम पोल्ट्री लेवल पे भी हम आज प्रोडक्शन कितनी कर रहे हैं कितनी नहीं कर रहे हैं, हमारे पास कोई डाटा ही नहीं होता, जिससे मार्केट कभी कुछ. तो ये चीजें काफी मतलब इनका एक फायदा हो सकता है. तो मैं तो ये कहूंगा कि रजिस्ट्रेशन होनी चाहिए, और लेकिन इसके लिए एक सरल प्रक्रिया होनी चाहिए बिल्कुल फार्मर के लिए, कि भाई खाली वो अपना बिजली का बिल, उस लोकेशन, अपने जमीन की फर्द, ये छोटी मोटी चीजें देखे. जैसे हरियाणा में पीछे किया गया, हरियाणा में रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए बोला गया, तो उसमें बहुत ज्यादा वो कर दिया कि आपको मतलब एनओसी फॉरेस्ट से लेनी पड़ेगी, टाउन प्लानिंग से लेनी पड़ेगी, सीपीसीबी की गाइडलाइन वो उसके लिए करना पड़ेगा. मतलब बहुत ज्यादा डॉक्यूमेंटेशन कर दी, जिससे फार्मर घबरा गया और किसी फार्मर ने ये रजिस्ट्रेशन किया ही नहीं. तो मैं तो एक अपने इस चैनल के माध्यम से, या सब आप आज गवर्नमेंट में हो, सब कुछ होकर जो भी प्लान बने, तो उसमें मैं कहूंगा कि एक बहुत ही सरल सिस्टम हो जिससे हर फार्मर इसको अडॉप्ट करने में कोई हिचकिचाहट महसूस ना करे. बाकी फायदा बहुत होगा और इससे हमारे को एक हर चीज का मैं कहूंगा कि सर्विलांस करने में सहूलियत रहेगी. तो यही बात है मेरी तरफ से.
बहुत अच्छा आपने प्रेजेंटेशन किया. शुरुआत में किसी भी चीज को शुरुआत करने में भय तो लगता है कि उसका किस डायमेंशन में हम लोग बढ़ेंगे, पर अगर सूचना अवेलेबल होती है तो एक्शन लेने में बहुत ज़्यादा आसानी होती है। इस सूचना के प्रचारण प्रसारण इसमें खासकर जो हमारे एसोसिएशंस हैं, फेडरेशंस हैं, इनका क्या योगदान हो सकता है, इस पर थोड़ा प्रकाश डालने का कष्ट करें,
देखिए,
किसानों के भय को दूर करने का।
बस इसमें यही है डॉक्टर साहब कि जैसे पोल्ट्री किसान मेले लगते हैं, या हम एसोसिएशन के तौर पे जैसे जैसे जो सेमिनार वगैरह हम लोग करते हैं, चाहे मतलब टेक्निकल सेमिनार भी हो रहे हैं, चाहे जहाँ पे जैसे अब अपना मान लो वीआईपी का ये हो रहा है, या हमारे पोल्ट्री फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडिया के होते हैं, जैसे बंगाल में महती जी बैठे हैं। एक हम हर लेवल पे, स्टेट लेवल पे जो एसोसिएशन है या प्रेसिडेंट है या वहाँ के जो पदाधिकारी हैं, वो फार्मरों को थोड़ा बताएं इसके बारे में कि इसका हम सबको फायदा ही होने वाला है, इसका कोई नुकसान नहीं है। एक तो ये चीज होकर जाए, दूसरी बात है थोड़ा सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से भी कोई एक, मैं कहूंगा कि वीडियो बना के कोई हम लोगों को प्रोवाइड किया की जाए, जैसे वहां से कोई भी एक वीडियो बन जाए और उसको गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से, और उसको हमारे पास आए, हम उसको एसोसिएशन के तौर पे या जितने भी हमारे सारे देश में एसोसिएशन हैं वो उसको फार्मर के अंदर सोशल मीडिया पे वो करें, तो उससे फार्मर का ये सारा हो सकता करके जागरूकता की जा सकती है, रेडियो पे की जा सकती है, डॉक्टर कुछ इसमें बोल सकते हैं करके, जो भी, तो इससे किया जा सकता है, इसका अच्छा होगा।
बहुत सुंदर बात आपने कही कि इससे फायदा होगा। दूसरा, इसके प्रचार प्रसार की आवश्यकता है। हमारे जो किसान भाई हैं, जो मुर्गी पालक लोग हैं, उनके बीच में इसको भयमुक्त किया जाना जरूरी है, जिसके प्रचार प्रसार में हम सभी लोग
जी
योगदान दे सकते हैं। और एक सरकार की तरफ से भी अपील आए, जिसको हम सब लोग एंडोर्स करें, तो किसानों का भरोसा हम पर और फिर सरकार पर धीरे धीरे बढ़ता रहेगा। बहुत सुंदर बात आपने कही, धन्यवाद आपका। नाउ आई कम टू मिस्टर मदन मोहन माइती। माइती साहब।
जी सर।
हाँ, एक्चुअली आप भी फार्मर्स की गतिविधियों से जुड़े हुए हैं और अपने फेडरेशन को बहुत अच्छे तरीके से चला रहे हैं, खासकर आपका जो वेस्ट बंगाल पोल्ट्री फेडरेशन है। और हम अक्सर इस बात को कहते हैं कि बायोसिक्योरिटी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है, खासकर एवियन इन्फ्लुएंजा के प्रिवेंशन के लिए। और आप भी, मैंने देखा है अक्सर फोरम में, अपने फार्मर्स भाइयों को ये बात समझाते हुए दिखाई देते हैं, खासकर जो बैकयार्ड या स्मॉल स्केल फार्मर्स हैं उनको। सो जस्ट इस बात को आप हमसे शेयर करना चाहें कि व्हाट रोल डज बायोसिक्योरिटी प्ले इन कंट्रोलिंग द एवियन इन्फ्लुएंजा, एंड our Indian poultry farms, especially the backyard and small scale, they are equipped to meet the recommended standards। जो स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं, क्या हमारे फार्मर्स और हमारे फार्म उन रिकमेंडेशन, उन स्टैंडर्ड्स को, जो रिकमेंडेड स्टैंडर्ड हैं, उसको पा सकते हैं, या उसको पाने में अभी दिल्ली दूर है? मोहिती साहब।
सर नमस्ते शुक्ला जी।
नमस्कार, प्लीज।
We have already worked out it about it, and last meeting at Calcutta, Naveen ji also told me do something in this regards. We have already started about the thinking about biosecurity levels in the backyard and the small poultry farmer. Those are indicating integrating system. इंटीग्रेटिंग सिस्टम में जो जुड़ा हुआ है उसको लेके already we have a meet with the government of West Bengal, additional chief secretary and the joint secretary level, and we have a hold a meeting in the federation and totally discuss about the role of the federation and the role of the government. We have a chalk out a plan and submit to the government already, and there are every possible role will be there. Government will be roles, veterinarian will be role of the government level, block level, BLDO, deputy director, and all of the federations. We have already 2 meetings already done with the federation members. What will be the role of us to the integration level for knowledge to the farmers, village level, and also the country birds and backyard poultry birds. We have taken a program about discussion about it. Finally, with the director of Government of West Bengal ARD and the additional secretary, we have decided something. Every farm, whatever the small, more than 1,000, having a designated death pit, the modality should be going to the only death pit. The dead birds cannot be sold by the farmers. It should be a regulation will be drawn by the government. Highly illegal carrying of the dead birds and everything. The government duty and check the horizontal and vertical contaminations. One is the mandatory by the federation to award to the farmers, small farmer to big farmers. We have ready for a designated capacity of wise death pit style, and this death pit style should be bound to maintain by the every farmer. And shortly, another 2-3 meeting we will finalize it. If not death pit of the farmers, the trade license cannot be renewed to the Panchayat department. They have restricted it. And so within November, every farm should be having designated death pit about their capacity. The federation persons and the block level veterinary officer are joint responsible for the inspection of the farm as per their capacity. If the death pit is completed, then they are given a certificate from the block level veterinary officer, and this certificate is mandatory for the renewals and trade license apply of the trade license. And previously we have already vehicle washing station in village level. Already federation have running 14 vehicle washing stations. Before the carrying of the poultry birds, this vehicle will be washing properly and disinfect properly. And now we have proposed to the government declare incentives for the more vehicle washing stations. We are thinking within a 1 or 2 years, we have established 500 vehicle washing stations of the states. And after that, every vehicle should be certified from a vehicle washing station. And the certified times, maximum 3 hours, they can be entry to the any farm. After 3 years, they cannot enter to any farm. That will be maintained by the integrator. They are integrator farmers. And in practice in West Bengal, dead birds is used in the fisheries. It should be strictly stopped by coming any rules and regulation, or if necessary, it should be coming in frame in the law in the cabinet. And in case of big case and the municipal corporations, we should be start the incinerator jointly with the municipal corporation and the federation. By a personal entrepreneur, all dead birds and the parts of the birds and the waste of the birds and the hatchery waste, everything going to the incinerator, and that should be coming under the incinerator or anything to study about it, and that can be which is arrived, that meat meal or everything, that can be used to the fisheries. Not before, fisheries cannot use it. We also take a part to the fisheries department also. This is the major problem of the West Bengal. All dead birds is purchased from the farmers and going to the fisheries. Okay. And we have a federation maintain the MVC and MVU, mobile veterinary service and mobile veterinary unit. It's a large quantity number. We have federation have maintained about 200. We have employed 200 veterinarians and 200 paravets and 200 assistants by the government funds. And a majority of the blocks is under federations. And already we have set up a meeting with the doctors and paravets. They have already started the campaign to the backyard farming. That should be the disinfected, and they should be minimum ND vaccination they should be done, and at least HPI vaccination should be done. Government also, ART department help by us. And this mechanism in the backward farming, they are committed to us, all the veterinarian of the MBC and MBU. There will be lots of help to us in the lower level, and integrator will be help to us implement to the small farmers, and directly big farmers, those having capacity more than 1 lakh, they should be a separate design or maintain there. And everything is the planning and everything. Federation is already hold two meeting.
Yeah.
Government is also two meeting. After that, members of the federation and government will be setting two meetings. After that, we should be sit with the additional chief secretary for the summarize what will be role of the federation, what will be role of the government, what will be role of the municipal corporation, what will be role of the panchayat department, what will be role of the fisheries department. Because
Thank you.
every farm starting need a trade license from the panchayat department and renewal to the panchayat department. So that should be restricted. If they're not having a certificate of the death pit, they cannot give in the renewal or trade license to the. This is the planning form.
It is wonderful.
Hopefully,
This is really wonderful. And it's
we are
a
hopefully
perfect
within
planning.
2 or 3 months, it will be materialized after 2-3 meeting, and that should be start. And federation, we have already stuck to the all district committee. Please convey our message to the government, message to us. And already government also their BLO level meeting, they have spread the message. It should be necessary for the backyard level also in biosecurity level.
Very good.
And we follow up about the biosecurity spraying in the at least November to February in the every farm. That should be a mechanism. We should be ready. We have a veterinarians committee, technical subcommittee, federation. We have already given the task to the veterinarian, headed by the Dr. Bani Maiti. He will be the. We have this poll having a 112 veterinarian is there. They are already started their meetings. How the biosecurity protocol will be done by the spraying and everything, that should be circulated to the big farmers and also the block level veterinarian and also the government and also the federation people. How we did control. This is our planning.
So thank you. Definitely, it's a very holistic approach to take integrators also on board and also thinking of something for minimum biosecurity in the backyard. I think this will take care of both the sides, maybe the very backyard farms or small scale or medium scale or a big integrators. So thank you very much for discussing this in detail. Now coming to Mr. Naveen, you do have a lot more activities at Karnataka, and recently you might have heard of the registration which has been taken as an initiative from government side. So I would like to know from you that how effective have the recent government initiative such as mandatory registration of poultry farms and the regional specific vaccination drives being in managing the spread of avian influenza in our country. Mr. Naveen.
Doc, namaskar. Thank you for having me on this esteemed panel. A lot to learn from Madan Mohan sir and the way they are doing in West Bengal. I think we'll have him over to KPFB and cut and paste everything that they are doing because there's a lot of things they have done. And I also appreciate the kind of summary Ranpalji suggested. The government of Karnataka has not issued a government order on the registration. Still, GO has not come. But there's a lot of discussions happening in the government that the poultry farms should be registered. I have no different opinion than Dr. Ranpalji. In fact, he stole all my thoughts and he told everything before I could say, which is very unfair.
No, but you may have your own thought.
Yeah, I think
if you can supplement somewhere.
Sir, I think registration is a must.
Because right now, what we would like to have in northern India, what Ranpal Dhandaji has said, this is by and large the thought of farmers are.
Correct.
Now, looking at it, that government is having such initiative. What is the reaction in southern part of the country so far registration is concerned of poultry farms of that particular area?
I think I will echo Mr. Ranpalji's concern. The Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, you can say is one integrated market. And close to 80% of the commercial broilers is produced through integration. Open farmers are very, very few. And obviously, backyard farmers are there who buy the birds from the university and do the backyard farming. Now, we have to register commercial broiler farms and breeder farms. Now, Pollution Control Board has already issued a mandate, and it is a law that if you have X number of birds and over that, you have to get a PCB approval. It's already a law. And that's being very heavily enforced in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. Without the PCB approval, you can't get power connections, you can't get panchayat licenses, you can't get panchayat building approvals also. So, I also agree with what Ranpalji said. All of us are for registration in South, but we are concerned about the harassment. And you used a word called holistic, sir. When Mr. Madan Mohan represented role of the government, role of panchayat, role of PCB, role of federation, I think registration is important because it will also give additional information to the banks whether they should give loans for expansion, growth, and all these things, because people should not borrow money from the bank, which is public money, and take that for a ride. Registration is extremely important. It's got a lot of positive things, but the concern of harassment is one big fear the sector has got. I totally agree with Ranpalji. So if you are going to make registration as compulsory GO, it should be a holistic approach, sir. And it should be a 2 or 3 page document where in registration is compulsory. What is the role of PCB? What is the role of panchayat? What is the role of electricity board? Everything, just about 5-8 lines, bullet pointing, no storytelling. And you make that as a GO and bring it as a GO, and anybody who comes to harass the poultry farmers, you've got the GO in the hand. So I'm totally with you, sir. It has to register, because once you register, when there is a problem of maize, then there's a problem of soya, you can digitally take the data of the farms. You can digitally calculate algorithms and calculate capacity. You can work backwards and recommend policy impact on the grains to the government, either to import, to export, to allow GM, to allow DDGS, which is a non-LMO. Lot of positive things will happen, sir. Lot of positive things will happen, and we I always say government should be in the business of governance. Government should not be in the business of running a business. A typical example is sale of Air India out of government. It cannot run Air India. So the same way, I am of the opinion government should mandate every state association to digitally register the poultry farms in the state. And government should give certain amount of funds for the association to mobilize the manpower, mobilize the IT hardware, software, engage field services to digitize the properties in the state. And we should do that, sir. There's no doubt about it. The association will have a hold, the bankers will have a hold, the government authorities will have data, and it can estimate the production data. Integrators can see where they are placing. A lot of analytics can happen.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
no poultry farm should be built anywhere in the state of Karnataka without permissions, because they just mushroom overnight. They don't do proper scientific way of building. They don't put proper flooring. They do all unscientific procedures, and the companies place, and then everything's all messy. Things start from there. So registration is important, and it should be given as a responsibility by the government to the state association, and little bit of funding, so we will digitize the state. That's my personal opinion.
Indeed, this is also one of the mandate. Why? Because always whenever we are talking about Indian poultry sector, much of the time we are depending on the estimates, not the real-time data.
Absolutely.
So once the registration is there, then definitely we are going to have a real-time data to have a better access,
Yes.
better assessment, better remedies, and better implementation of the things.
So one more
Just
thing I just
a
want
quick
to.
question,
Sure.
a quick question to you. As already stated by Mr. Madan Mohan Maiti, that through integrators, biosecurity norms to some extent can be imposed on the rearers. Do you agree with this?
Absolutely,
And
sir.
if yes, then in what way we should progress with this thought?
Sir,
Just one or two lines only.
yeah, sir. If the association has got all the integrators as its members, sir, we can do reels in the association. Instagram reels, Facebook reels, under 1 minute, different episodes, and pump it on the digital highway. We can give it from the association to the members and request the members to pump it to all their integrated farmers. And also, bird lifters is a very crucial community of people who help us to distribute our product. Bird lifters, bird lifting vehicles. We can also digitally do reels under 1 minute, and pump it across all the members who can give it to their bird lifters and educate them. Association should be having huge responsibility in every state, is my personal opinion, sir.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree with this because knowledge dissemination is very important, and this can be done through our stakeholders. And
Absolutely.
definitely, a person who is lifting the bird is also our stakeholder, and
Yes.
we can also get many more things done through them. Thank you, Naveen
Thank you, sir.
for your views.
We'll be back after a short commercial break.
That is a wake-up call against the growing shadow of antibiotic resistance over our poultry, our health, and our world. To fight this menace, Excelsior, a natural antibiotic-free performance enhancer, marshals an army of bacteriophages, each engineered by evolution to engage a specific bacterial adversary. Excelsior uses a cocktail of bacteriophages that protects your flock against various strains of Salmonella, E. coli, Clostridium perfringens, and Staphylococcus aureus. Excelsior is more than a product. It's our shield against antimicrobial resistance. It's our stand for a safer, healthier future. For more information about our products and solutions, log into sapiensagri.com.
Now we do have with us Dr. Ajay Deshpande, who is having a vast experience in the poultry sector, not only in the rearing, but also as vet and heading the Association of Vets in Poultry. He do have a lot more activities regarding the poultry production system in the country. Dr. Ajay, if I ask you, the government has begun pilot vaccination programs for avian influenza in selected regions. What learnings have emerged from these, and how can vaccination be scaled nationwide without disrupting trade or market access? Dr. Ajay Deshpande, please.
Sir, I will elaborately talk on that one because this issue is very complex one, number one, and it is haunting industry like anything. In last month, industry estimated losses are 25,000 crores. It is not the question of trade or export or import. It is the question of survival of the industry, survival of the farmers, because we know the biosecurity. Since ages we know biosecurity. We are educated. I am a president of VIP Association as well as I am one of the largest producer in Maharashtra. I am handling the integration of more than 30,000, 30 lakh birds per month. The, the issue is very complex, sir. And usually, what I know is in tandem with the government authorities, policymakers to get the issue resolved. The first outbreak of avian influenza we reported in 2006 in Nawapur, Maharashtra. Since then, if you review the condition, review the status of the avian influenza, the number of outbreaks are increasing despite appeared in winter season. Now you take every season, it is hunting the industry, it is damaging the industry very badly. You can't imagine. You ask the producers how much crores of rupees they're going into drain. So fortunately, I was there with the policymakers at Delhi in the meeting, and we stakeholders had decided to speak in one loud voice that please, if you want the local industry to survive and grow, we have to bring in live vaccines and killed vaccines. Uh, as per the situation, we should allow the import of vector vaccines, live vaccines and killed vaccine at a time. Last year, it's a welcome step that government allowed killed vaccine LPI. They approved a killed vaccine LPI. We may see the effect of it in coming years to come, whether we are able to contain the LPI by vaccination or not. So there has to be three, four tranche property. The planning for this one. Number one, what happened since 2006 till today? Whether the prevention and strategies government is implementing, whether it is bringing down the outbreaks or not. So what are measures government is implementing, that stamping out, the culling of the birds, is it been successful? And poultry and this biosecurity alone is not only responsible. How you control these migratory birds? Because they are the major reservoir of this bird flu virus. So anyway, there are leakages. There will be leakages, and there will be loopholes in the biosecurity, which is not foolproof. So, lot has been talked about the registration of the farmers. So sometimes we stakeholders we worry too much and we live in imaginary fears. What the simple reason I told it to my association also, there are suppose 10 integrators in Maharashtra. They have their farmers list in their who are there in contract with them. It's not our responsibility to get it registered. It's government responsibility. We need to share the data to the government authorities, and we unnecessary we take in mind this imaginary fears if they enforce something or not. What their government of India is asking for registration of the farmers, because one important aspect in controlling avian influenza is surveillance. So they need to map each and every farm so that government can effectively carry the surveillance and the track record of the virus, how it is traveling, how migratory birds are occurring. So that will aid in government authorities to prevent and control its spread. Number one. So I don't have any doubt that we should transparently share the data with government. Our work is only just our power is just to give them the data. So these are the farms. So altogether, these 10,000 farms are there in Maharashtra with address. Just locate them, register them, because registration is government duty. We can't enforce the farmers to get it registered. That important whether this pollution control and everything that is not important. They are asking it mandatory only because it will enable us to properly monitor it, surveillance it, and track the virus spread. That is one thing. Second thing, I talk about LPI vaccine. Third thing, whatever biosecurity measures we are taking, considering the farming nature in India and farming system in India, it is very impossible to surely control bird flu by biosecurity. There are so many loopholes, so many loopholes. Farms are close by, some areas very densely populated, and the virus spreads by air also. How will it distribute air? So the industries wide, to my point here is we should raise our voice and convince government that we can't survive without these vaccinations. Even you consider the what is going in Europe and USA. The eggs have reached up to rupees 50 rupees, 60 rupees a piece. Why this is? Even they have the 10 kilometer of distance in two farms, they are unable to control it. So they are reviving their policy. So government taking into confidence the major stakeholders, they should call a meeting, ask for what industry needs from them, and I think according to situation, we have to mold it. I'm not telling that we should not take care of biosecurity and everything. That has to be there. That is the protocol. Along with biosecurity, it has become mandatory and necessary rather. If you really want to local industry to survive and farmers to survive and repair their bank loans, we have to support government also, properly share information also, and we have asked them that we can't control this virus because it is evident that it is becoming very virulent year after year. So till then, from 2006 till today, government is taking efforts, every effort to control, but they are unable to, and nobody will be, because this virus is becoming very virulent, and this is cause of concern. Industry is losing heavily. This is national loss, and we should not copy the Western countries. Yeah, because their housing system is different. Our housing system is different. Even you see Bangladesh has effectively contained even influenza spread by approving the vaccination, HPI vaccinations. Even France, they have taken into consideration, they have approved it in ducks. Even you consider this Netherlands, they have approved commercial trials. Even US is also seriously thinking out. But because Europeans and America, they are not permitting the vaccines, why should we? Government should be very open to it. Until today, they were not
That's a
sensitive, but
just,
they are considering the issues now.
just interrupting at this point of time.
Yes.
We have a different models for production system in our country.
Yeah.
In western side, usually production is there in mass, but here in our country, production is by masses. And till the birds are there in the backyard, how effective vaccination program we can carry out, because this remains a question. But yes, I do agree with this, that a time has come when we need to go through the blockchain technology even in our poultry production system and also in the poultry value chain. So in a time to come, we need to modify ourselves as per the need of the hour and as per our production programs. So thank you very much for having very valuable inputs with us. Thank you so much, Dr. Deshpande. And we do
Thank you,
have
sir.
with us Dr. Shirish Nigam, who is representing and who is leader of animal health companies in our country. He's president of the Indian Federation of Animal Health Companies. Dr. Shirish, how can India integrate One Health approach into its avian influenza strategy, ensuring coordinated efforts between veterinary, public health, and environmental sector for a long-term prevention and control with sustainability? Dr. Shirish.
Good evening to all esteemed panelists. Thank you, Dr. Shukla sir, for asking such a lengthy and a very tough question. So I have to do a lot of homework. So I made my best attempt, and after talking to few fellow colleagues in IMFA and other subject matter expert, there are 8 pointers which I would like to mention in this forum, and probably with the help of the reach of IPR, it will also be shared in the network. What I see that we have just did the benchmarking study. What is the current protocol among the different departments in Government of India? That is the veterinary infrastructure. Then there are various public health departments, including the human health departments and certain departments under the Ministry of Environment. So the first point is there is no institutional framework and governance. I mean to say there is no single point governance. There are multiple stakeholders. We need to establish, one national One Health task force. I think this national One Health task force is missing, and this can be under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, but it should be co-leadership from the Ministry of Fisheries, Department of Animal Husbandry, and as my fellow colleague said, that we can also involve the stakeholders like VIP, like the Poultry Federation, like the other state unions. So there has to be a national One Health task force. Second, we need to develop a central coordination mechanism across departments for surveillance. As Dr. Deshpande said, like there is no early warning. We are not having outbreak response and also resource sharing. If there is an outbreak in certain state, the resource sharing is not known to the farmer. There is no right written down protocol. Number two is the integrated surveillance system. So if we see, like in the developed countries also, we have a harmonized surveillance system across human, poultry, wild bird, and environmental interfaces. Here, the surveillance of poultry alone will be one of the factor, but there are other factors in the spread or in the cycle of the virus. They also need to be considered. So we have to expand the ICR, NISAD, and NCDC roles for coordinated zoonotic disease monitoring. So I think Shukla sir, you have attended some program of NCDC. We have seen that they are also going with season. If bird flu is coming, they are also talking about bird flu. But when the bird flu goes away from the media or goes away from the system, then they take over the another topic. So we need to have that all season without reason. This is the important zoonotic disease where the virulence is increasing, it is jumping the species. We need to curtail this, and that's why integrated surveillance system is very vital. And all the members of INFA, those who are producing vaccines, disinfectants, other medicaments, support system, immunity booster, they all also have the same. That okay, just with products it cannot be curtailed or controlled. We need to have integrated surveillance system. Point number three is cross-sectoral risk assessment and zoning. We are having zoning, but there is no cross-sectoral risk assessment. So, like how we identify and continuously update high risk zone, low risk zone, moderate risk zone. There has to be map of avian influenza. Till now, the government of India has not released a map, and where there are red, blue, green, or there are different colors, and it should be based on the surveillance data. How we use technology. Now, how we use GIS mapping tools to visualize outbreak risk areas. There are countries, there are companies, those who are available, where we can source these technologies, because this will allow preventive culling and vaccination in hotspots. At least, this is one thing which is very vital. At least in the hotspots, which after the surveillance is proven and after the zoning it is proven, we need to intervene with the paramount efforts, which is vaccination, Dr. Shukla. Just with biosecurity, creating disease-free environment, which we call as a biosecurity, but it is just a basic protocol. If biosecurity could have be the main controlling factor, US could not have been. There are large farms, there are so much good biosecurity, but still they are having avian influenza. So we need to look into the what are the tools available to the farmer and to the industry stakeholders to control this. And the fourth is capacity building and joint training. The capacity building, this also includes the registration. फार्मर को डर है, क्यों है डर? रणपाल जी ने बता दिया, लेकिन we have to understand how to use this extension activity by doing capacity building joint training, how we collaborate with the associations, create a small videos, all those stuff. The fifth and the important point which we feel here in INFA is biosecurity and community engagement, which is already many of us have talked in the past, because we need to look into this as a basic step. Sixth is research and innovation. I even my own college or any other university, how many interdisciplinary research we are doing on the AI. We are not connecting in the development of the vaccines between DBT, ICMR, ICR. There is no collaboration. They are seen that this is a disease of the poultry only. And then the last one is the legal and policy integration. So how we update the prevention and control of infectious contagious disease in Animals Act 2009 to incorporate One Health principle. In the Act of Parliament of 2009, the One Health principles are not being incorporated. So we have to do that. And we have to include avian influenza in the national action plan of AMR. Avian influenza still, Shukla sir, has not been included. I studied it 2 days back. It has not been included in the national action plan of AMR as a broader zoonotic disease with surveillance umbrella. This has not been included. And then we need to learn from the other countries through other association of the great respect like OIE, FAO, WHO, UNEP, and we have to have a some kind of a stakeholder India should become, and we should have a framework for capacity building reporting standards. Even the reporting standards of the bird flu in India are not uniform across the states. There are different formats if I see. So these are the few things. Some of the initiatives will require funding support, but we as a stakeholders in the system need to present to the government transparently, assertively, with a lot of homework and with a lot of white papers and information. I am sure one day will come very soon, then when we'll have the tools. One last point I would like to say, because I was studying about the secretary invited INFA, but my colleagues represented, but they gave a homework to me to create a benchmark about the regulatory affairs about vaccines across the world. So I have selected 16 countries across the world for which I'm gathering the data. But there are certain countries those have approved new adjuvant vaccines. These adjuvant vaccines are based on MCA and BCA, Bacillus construct adjuvant, and the another one is the monocylated chitosan adjuvant. These are the new things which are happening, and this is under the development, but there are a lot of good results has been observed, extraordinary results has been observed as compared to the traditional technology. So in the end I will just say that info as a stakeholder is always there. Our members have the capacity and capability to bring the new technology both in India as well as international, means both domestic player as well as an international player, and we can definitely work with the industry to come out from the losses which we all are making. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
giving chance, Shukla sir. Over to
Thank you,
you.
Dr. Shirish, for a very good comprehension about One Health approach, particularly what is required is an integrated approach, and that integrated approach is very much meaningful when everybody holds the responsibility, share the information, implement the things, and disseminate the information. So thank you very much, Dr. Shirish, for your valuable input. Uh, I think in the last, but I can reiterate that yes, avian influenza always it remains a critical challenge for the Indian poultry sector, and it is not merely a health issue, but it has its economic and social
Yeah.
concern. And as said by each and everyone at this forum, the coordinated action across government, the industry, the farmers, the associations is essential to build resilience against the future outbreaks. So let me thank once again Mr. Ranpal Dhanda, the president of PFI, Mr. Naveen, the president of KPFBA, Mr. Madan Mohan Maiti, the general secretary of West Bengal Poultry Federation, Dr. Ajay Deshpande, the president of Vaccine Poultry, and Dr. Shirish Nigam, the president of INFA, for having a valuable input in such an interactive session. And let me thank Mr. Sanjay Mukherjee for taking an initiative to have a brainstorming on a very apt aspect, which definitely is going to have an impact in Indian poultry sector. Thank you, one and all.
Thank
Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you.
Again, over to Mr. Sanjay.
Thank you, Dr. Shukla. Thank you, panelists, Naveen, Ranpalji, Dr. Shirish, Dr. Ajay, Madan Babu. It's been a really fantastic discussion today. And I think a lot of relevant points have been made and a lot of questions that the industry would have been answered. And I hope there are enough takeaways that our listeners get from this podcast for them to get a clearer idea of what is happening and the way forward. Thank you all so much for being a part of this podcast.